In recent weeks, the Indian ferrosilicon market has seen notable changes driven by the suspension of production at several units in Meghalaya. This supply disruption has led to a sharp rally in prices, pushing them to a 7-month high. Ladies and gentlemen, I warmly welcome you all to today's webinar organized by BigMint, where we will be driving and delving into the topic of ferrosilicon, analyzing the demand-supply dynamics and the market outlook. In this session, we will explore the key aspects of the Indian ferrosilicon market, including supply trends, imports, pricing, and more. I am Nishna Mukherjee, your host for the session. I would also like to introduce you all to Mr. Vijay Kumar Sahu, who will be co-hosting this webinar with me, and we are also honored to have the distinguished panelists with us today. Mr. Naveen Kumar Dadu, Group Advisor at President Youth Bhutan, who has joined us as a panelist in this webinar session today. A reminder to the audience that we will be taking all the questions towards the end of the session. So please share your queries in the chat box. Before we move ahead with the interesting discussion with our panelists, I would invite Vijay to give a brief overview on the Indian ferrosilicon market. Over to you, Vijay.
Thank you. A very good afternoon to everyone. So I'll brief you all today with an overview of Indian ferrosilicon market. Ma'am, if you could start with the presentations. So ferrosilicon is basically essential to the steel and iron industries, functioning both as a deoxidizer and an alloying agent. Its demand is closely linked to the performance of industries like steel, construction, automotive, and electrical engineering. Now, India's ferrosilicon production capacity stands at nearly 150,000 tons, with major production hubs located in Guwahati, Meghalaya, as well as in Kerala and Tamil Nadu. However, India's actual ferrosilicon production is around 60,000 tons annually, falling short of its needs. As a result, the country relies heavily on imports, with around 170,000 tons imported in 2023. Bhutan remained the largest supplier, accounting for 75% of the imports, followed by Meghalaya, followed by Malaysia and other countries. Now, recently, Indian ferrosilicon prices hit a 7-month high due to the suspension of operations at several plants in Meghalaya. So that's all I had to present. Now let's hear it from our esteemed panelist, Mr. Naveen Dadu sir, on the current market scenario and way forward. Over to you, ma'am.
Nishita, you are silent. You are on mute.
I hope I'm audible now.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks, Vijay, for that brief presentation on the Indian ferrosilicon market. Before we begin with the panel discussion, I would like to take this moment to introduce you all to our esteemed panelist, Mr. Naveen Kumar Dadu. He entered the ferroalloys trading business in 1979. He joined Peasant Group of Bhutan in 2009, which is a success story in the production of quality ferrosilicon. And under his leadership, the first we saw the low carbon silico-manganese production, which started at Peasant. Now, he's also promoter of the Green Ferroalloys Private Limited to produce all manganese alloys. He's also, besides this, working on the niche product that is refined ferrosilicon production. Welcome, Mr. Dadu, to the webinar.
आप सबको नमस्ते. आप सबको नवरात्रि की शुभकामनाएं. I am thankful to BigMint for inviting me to share my views on their platform. I congratulate BigMint to grow and help the industry for updating us the market information on daily basis, which is helping us to take proper decisions. Thanks a lot to your team. Opinion expressed here are only my personal views and not of Pelton Group.
Thank you so much, sir. As we begin with the discussion, So first question to you is that what the entire matter is all about regarding the Meghalaya State Pollution Control Board that has been claiming about violation of the environmental norms.
The Meghalaya industry, as far as I know, is suffering for the investment. Last 2 years, the prices of ferrosilicon are below the market, or you can say below the international level. Indian ferrosilicon prices are the cheapest. All their furnaces are old, of small capacity, need big investment in pollution control system. So actual detail will be given by Mr. Aditya, the present status. I don't know about the present status, but I know only one thing, that they have to invest money in their pollution system and the requirements are very huge. When they will start, what is the latest scenario is not to my knowledge, but I have heard in the market that within 5 to 10 days, they are going to resume their production.
Right. Vijay, any question from your end?
Thank you, sir. So I'll ask my next question. So it's regarding upcoming capacity expansion plans in Bhutan. So, sir, what are the upcoming ferrosilicon investment projects planned in Bhutan? And are there any delays in these expansion projects?
I have informed earlier also in one of the FAFA meeting that how many plants are coming in Bhutan. Number of units which were supposed to start production this year are delayed. The main reason for delay is the low prices of ferrosilicon being offered by the Indian industry. For exports, the logistic cost from Bhutan is very high. Few major producers, those who wanted to increase the capacity, has put their plants on hold. Still, I hope by 2025, June, 2 units will start production and an additional 5,000 tons per month will be in the market. By 2026, roughly 20,000 tons of ferrosilicon will be available from Bhutan, extra than the existing present capacity of about 1,15,000 tons per month.
Thank you. Thank you for the info, sir. So now taking it forward to, I would like to ask about alternative supply sources. Now with the closure of Meghalaya units, are there any viable alternative suppliers in the domestic or international markets?
See, ferrosilicon is in surplus all over the world.
Okay.
Malaysia units are also struggling to sell their product. Indian steel industry has to understand the nature of ferrosilicon. There is no shortage of ferrosilicon for the Indian consumers. The existing capacity of Bhutan and other Indian plants capacity can easily meet the requirement of Indian industries. The reason of shortage is not for the closure of Assam and Meghalaya plants, but many Indian ferrosilicon producers stop production due to unremunerative prices. Some 75 grade ferrosilicon imports from Malaysia also stopped coming due to offering of low prices by the Indian industries. In the falling market, consuming industries started keeping minimal inventories, thinking ready material will be available in the market. Few ductile iron pipes and stainless steel producers, who are the major buyers of ferrosilicon, started spot buying. Their monthly requirements shifted to weekly requirements. They even wanted to procure material much lower prices than the prevailing market prices. Such low prices forced few big ferrosilicon producers in India to cut down production and few suspended operations also. You are aware Hyderabad units are closed.
Okay.
Hindupur units are closed. Their production put together was around Meghalaya only. Arunachal, they also not producing in one of the furnaces. Their production is also low. One new plant has come up in Arunachal, still waiting to switch on the furnace. They are not doing it because of the low prices being offered by the Indian industry. The prices has to be justifiable, remunerative, so that the industry can survive. Entire ferroalloy industries, particularly ferrosilicon industry, is bleeding. This is the main reason for non-availability. If the proper prices are given, there is no shortage of material. All the closed units in India will start immediately. And you can import from Malaysia also. They are also having surplus. Every day I'm getting calls from both the producers in Malaysia to buy the material. Even the Brazil is ready to supply material to India, but you have to give the international prices. Today for 75 grade, international prices are about 1350 FOB Malaysia, or say 1320. Some people are also offering. And because of the low prices in India, we are exporting from Bhutan even in a big quantity to USA. Why? Because the prices in India are less, unremunerative. We have to survive. And there is no shortage of how to. You want me to explain to you how the Indian industry can get the material right in time? Can I suggest something?
Sure, sir. Please.
It is very simple. What is happening in the developed countries, USA, Korea, Japan, Europe, they all buy on long-term basis, on the basis of CRU.
Okay.
Today in India, BigMint prices can be accepted as reasonable and fair prices being published by them. BigMint has grown too big, and their reports, etc., are fairly reasonable. If the industry starts doing long-term contracts based on BigMint prices, so we can plan production, plan dispatches, and the ups and downs of the industry can be taken care of. But the habit of buying on the spot basis will not work. We don't know next month we'll be getting orders or not. Prices are going down. But the order book should be there. If they place long-term orders on the basis of BigMint prices, I feel they will be able to meet their all requirements. Like SAIL, like Tata, they don't suffer that much. But the major consumer these days, the ductile iron pipe producers, stainless steel producers, they are buying on the spot basis. There is a big expansion in ductile iron production, but they are not buying on regular basis, on long-term basis. They want to buy on weekly basis.
Okay.
Second mistake, few of the producers are placing order with only one company, where their requirement is above 1,000 tons a month. Knowing me well, the capacity of that plant is only 1,000. That closes in Meghalaya because of the pollution system, ECP. Now they are in trouble. There is no surplus material available because Bhutan is booked, or many Indian companies are booked with export orders to USA. The geopolitical condition is changing every day. Nobody knows which country will ban import from which country. Take the example of US. Now they are not buying from Malaysia even, not buying from Brazil even, which has the surplus. They are not buying from Russia, where there is surplus ferrosilicon. Now they are asking material from India, Bhutan. They are offering fair prices. That to a long-term basis. So everyone started exporting to USA. The Indian market the material which should go to the Indian market first is going to USA. The only solution is to go for the long-term contract based on BigMint prices. And I will also request BigMint to start giving, like CRU, the monthly average prices. This will help the industry to book orders for the next month.
Thank you. Thank you for a kind word, sir.
Yeah, Vijay, I had one question from sir to ask.
Sure, ma'am.
Sir, you mentioned that there is a possibility of these Meghalaya plants to possibly resume in 5-10 days period of time. So, what's the status? Any idea on the status of the report that probably they would have submitted to the State Pollution Control Board? And what was this entire violation all about regarding the particulate matter or the environmental norms that they had violated? A brief, if you could just tell our audience about it, sir.
See, was it a violation or not? I don't know about that industry in Meghalaya. Only one thing I have heard, that their pollution system is not up to the mark. These are old systems and they need to invest. Everybody must have started working on this. Temporary measures must have been taken. And the plant, I wish the plant starts as early as possible.
Right.
And still, there is no shortage of material. All the plants in India, those who have suspended operation, may start anytime if the prices offered are reasonable. They have to offer them the international prices, otherwise good quantity of material will be exported from India and Bhutan. Those who produce quality product.
Right.
And the prices, what you are saying, the prices have increased. Prices have not increased. You compare the prices what it was 1 year ago, 1.5 years ago, and what is the price now.
That's correct, sir.
Need all the time.
Correct. I was coming to that question only, that the prices had increased to 7-month high recently in early October, and prices had increased by roughly 15,000 to 20,000 rupees in last 1 week, and close to 105 or 110 levels were seen recently. So, what is your price outlook for the immediate 1 week and next 15 days or so, sir?
See, we have to analyze first why the Indian plants stopped operations, why the Hindupur plants reduced production and stopped operations, why the Hyderabad unit stopped production. Few ferroalloys producers, those who are producing ferrosilicon, shifted to silicomanganese or ferromanganese in India. Good plants. Why? We have to analyze. Whenever in India there is a peculiarity. When the surplus is 100 tons, the price drops 3 times a day. When the shortage is of 100 tons, the price increases 3 times a day. The only solution to me is long-term contracts, so that all these problems are taken care of. Those who are having the orders, they will definitely supply at the market price. They must know next month their order book they can supply or not. There is some orders or not. Uncertainty with the producers is not healthy. When we are going to increase our steel production every year, say estimated by 7 million tons from 2010 and 2014, last 10 years, I think, 7 million tons per month increase is there per annum, not month. 7 million tons per annum, Indian production has increased. And today, people have planned for the expansion of stainless steel. They are going to double the capacity. Because there is a big demand from railway, from road authority, for construction of Indian roads, stainless steel. But people are not investing in ferrosilicon. Why? And nobody can run their plant regularly when they earn losses. I'm using the terminology earn losses.
Right.
I don't know how long we can survive like this.
Sir, is there a technological challenge or any other factor related to electricity that you would also like to highlight?
See, electricity problem will remain in India. Electricity prices will go up. Internationally, it is going up. Now the industry will shift from the standalone furnace to all the steel plants. For example, anybody who is increasing the capacity in DRI, they are having surplus, they can produce surplus power with the waste heat recovery. So few plants have started putting up power plants. They are doing massive expansion in the ferroalloys. They can go for ferrosilicon. I don't name the companies. Every company of DRI have started production of electricity with the waste heat. The cost of production is less. They are not able to sell in the market. So they will start production of ferrosilicon also.
Second panel, there was a slight delay because of the IT glitch that had occurred. So, Mr. Agrawal, we welcome you all to the webinar.
Thank you, ma'am.
Although we nice. So we had initiated the panel discussion with Mr. Dadu, and I'll just have a quick introduction of yours to the audience before starting with the questions and answers with your session as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, the second panelist of this session, Mr. Aditya Agrawal, he is Executive Director of Shyam Century Ferrous Limited, and he has played a key role in transforming Shyam Century Ferrous Limited from a loss-making company to a profitable one in just 14 months through strategic initiatives and operational improvements. His leadership has extended beyond manufacturing, earning the company a prestigious award for energy efficiency due to his innovative approach and commitment to sustainability. His focus on business turnaround, operational excellence, and sustainable growth has consistently delivered results, making him a valuable leader. Welcome, Mr. Agrawal, to the webinar.
Thank you.
Sir, we would also like to hear your views that in what state Meghalaya is currently related to the plant suspects occurred for ferrosilicon. If you could brief the audience and what is the outlook that when these plants are likely to resume operations? Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, in Meghalaya, there are about 9/10 plants which produce ferrosilicon in the state of Meghalaya. Other than that, we have about 4 other plants in Northeast which produce ferrosilicon. Majority of the plants in Meghalaya are situated in a particular area called Barnihart, wherein the pollution levels had crossed and the government had done a strict vigilance, because of which the government shut down all the plants in one shot, causing concerns in the supply of ferrosilicon in the market and thus pushing up the prices. With regard to production restart and the plants starting again, we are expecting the same to begin in the next 7 to 10 days. Probably by next week, the plants should get an operation consent to operate, all of them. The statutory requirements for the pollution has been complied by majority of the plants. So we are hoping to get the permission in the next 7 to 10 days to restart it. And the supplies should begin in the next 10-15 days.
Great. So we do not foresee a major supply disruption, given that we can expect resumption in supplies in a week's time or 10 days time. Sir, what would be total capacity of these plants of ferrosilicon that have been facing suspension?
The annual capacity, the monthly capacity of these plants would be something around 6,000 tons, ballpark, give or take, monthly. So that has caused concerns in the supply part.
Right. And Vijay, any questions from your end for Aditya, sir?
Yeah, I have a question. Hello, good afternoon, sir. So I had one query, sir, regarding policy and compliance thing. So do you think stricter compliance and environmental regulations, this could lead to long-term shifts in the production hubs for the ferrosilicon currently in India?
So you understand, when you set up a plant for ferrosilicon, the pollution part which is set up consumes the cost for setting up a pollution setup for a 9 MVA or a 4.5 MVA or an 18 MVA or a 33 MVA is not directly proportional. So you have a benchmark cost. Let's say you have a cost for setting up a pollution plant at 4 crore rupees for a small plant, let's say 9 MVA. But if you set up an 18 MVA, the pollution cost for the same would grow to maybe about 5 crores at the most. So the incremental cost is not that much. Also, when you set up a bigger furnace, the operational cost for running a plant vis-a-vis a plant of a smaller capacity is very much different. Running a bigger furnace helps you to ensure that your operation costs are low on the lower side, about 3 to 5 rupees ballpark on the efficiency part, how you manage it. So that also helps in saving. Majority of the silicon plants that you have in China or globally are of a bigger capacity. Also, these small plants, what we see about 4, 5, 6 MVA or maybe a single standalone 9 MVA plants, are very difficult to sustain in the long term in the Indian context.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Sir, do you foresee further hike in prices, given that prices in the Indian and Bhutan markets have already risen to 7-month high in early October? So what is your outlook on prices for next week or so, unless plants resume operations? And of course, you mentioned that probably the plants will resume operation in 10 days time. So do you expect an immediate rollback in prices?
So ma'am, you understand market is all about a demand and supply. One, the prices have shot up majorly for two reasons. One of which is the supply constraint which happened because of the plants shutting down. The other part is because of the cost. The cost for producing ferrosilicon were much on a higher side than the market price at which it was being sold. So with the supply increasing, even if we get a permission to restart the plants, let's say in the next 7 to 10 days, the plants will actually take about another 10 days to start production and start delivering in the market, because the furnace needs to reheat itself and the production would come. So that's a 7 to 10 days ballpark time frame wherein the production will actually start hitting the market. I don't foresee the prices moving up from here any forth. There has been a price hike in the Indian steel market, MS part, SS part, in the past 15-20 days. It's prima facie because of the following reasons. A, China has reduced its interest rates, causing a push in the economy, thus pulling up the commodity prices. Also, with the season coming in, as we call the winter season, Q3, Q4 have generally been good for the Indian steel sector. We expect the demand for steel to push up in the same. Thus, a spike in prices for ferrosilicon, if you compare 1 month back vis-a-vis another month down the line, there would be a hike, but today's price is certainly at near its peak, and it is wise for any consumer to book limited quantity of materials as and when required.
Thank you so much, sir, for that feedback. And also, sir, we were hearing that some of the producers are trying to hold back offers. Is that also a factor that has been impacting the offers, or any, apart from the three factors that you mentioned just now, and any geopolitical reason or spike in Chinese offers and offers from Malaysia? Is that another factor that has also impacted the ferrosilicon prices?
So, ma'am, you understand that domestic prices for ferrosilicon were on a lower side compared to an international market price. So, what was currently happening is the domestic producers, when I say domestic, I include Bhutan as well here, they started exporting their material to overseas countries because they were getting a better realization on the sale. Now, the Indian consumers, majority of them, they do not really value a relationship, unlike the Japanese people, if you consider, because if you start supplying material to a Japanese company, they value a relationship much over a price. In the Indian context, the people consider all these as commodities, and the only thing that values for them is the price. आज ये सस्ता दे रहा है इसके पास देंगे, कल वो सस्ता दे रहा है उसके पास देंगे. There is no loyalty part with the Indian consumer here. Until and unless there's a commitment or a relationship between a buyer and a seller for long term, sustaining prices and long term supplies will be a challenge. Also, with Malaysia producing ferrosilicon from its hydro plant, I don't think they're able to sustain the prices as of now because of other issues which they're having. The majority of the cost for producing ferrosilicon is power, but they're still facing difficulties. And I would not be shocked if a lot of plants in the next couple of months start shutting down, even in Asia, for other reasons, because of the price, because of the geopolitical reason, because of the geopolitical reason, US has started banning material from certain countries, maybe China or someone else. So what is happening is it will ultimately add pressure to the market scenario. Now, because of the change in geopolitical situations, you have to be very cautious how you're dealing. So that is going to impact the prices now and then, of course.
Agree. And are there any more capacity expansions planned? Just before you were about to join, so we were discussing it with Mr. Dapu that there are some capacity expansions that are coming in Bhutan. We expect about 5,000 tons per month capacity additions in 2025 and some more about 20 KT per month in 2026. So do you see some additional capacities in Meghalaya and northeast regions of India as well?
Yes, I do believe there would be capacity addition. We ourselves are adding up capacity. So we would be coming up with additional capacities in the next probably 3 to 4 months, adding up another furnace. Other than that, Arunachal is coming up with some additional capacities to the best of my knowledge. So that should again be operational in the next couple of months. So I don't think other than this, any major capacity expansion is going to take place. One of the major reasons why people are skeptical of expanding in Northeast is also the power supply. The power supply in Meghalaya has not been very constant. I'm sure you have been tracking the reports of the same. So until and unless you have constant power supply at an affordable pricing, it is going to be concerning for any company to produce ferrosilicon. Also, I believe in going forward, a lot of ferrosilicon may start being produced in integrated steel plants because a lot of waste heat is going to be generated from DRI or maybe blast furnace capacities. So the power cost is mitigated. So going forward, continuous supply at an affordable prices, maybe the integrated steel plants would be the future for making ferrosilicon, unlike what we have in Meghalaya or the parts of the country.
Right. Right. Thank you so much, sir, for taking those questions so patiently. And a very big thanks to both the panelists of today's webinar. Hope you all enjoyed this session of today. Some of the key takeaways that we learned from today's webinar are that yes, there has been a spike in the Indian ferrosilicon prices because of multiple factors. One, of course, the key factor being the suspension of 9 units in Meghalaya, which were about production having of 6,000 tons on a monthly basis. But however, our panelists do not foresee this situation to continue for a long time. Maybe we can expect, necessary clearances to be obtained by these plants within next 1 week or 10 days. Another factor was, of course, the peak winter season and the peak season that is coming in, because of which buyers had aggressively booked, which led to another spike in prices. Constrained power supply is one thing that was highlighted by our panelists. There are capacity additions that are coming in both Meghalaya in this year as well as in Bhutan in 2025 and 2026. Supplies should not be an issue in the northeast part of the country, and the existing capacity and production ramp-ups that are taking place are expected to keep supplies intact for the demand that would be coming up from the Indian markets. There are some plant closures that we have been hearing in southern India because of less viability of ferrosilicon in those markets, given the existing price levels. However, Other way around, if we see, the Northeast plants continue to remain functional, and Bhutan continues to remain the major source of imports of ferrosilicon to India. So that was all from today's webinar. I thank everyone on behalf of BigMint for joining in, and I'm your host signing off from the webinar. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.